Today I'm reviewing the Yealink WH66. This is a Microsoft Teams headset, dual DECT. Want to know what I think? Keep watching. This is Paul Bloom and you're watching In My Humble Opinion. So why would you be interested in a DECT headset as opposed to the standard Bluetooth? Well, simply put, DECT is much more secure for a start, and secondly, DECT is designed for high density areas. So when you've got many devices, you don't get the kind of interference that you would traditionally get with the standard Bluetooth setup. So for me, this particular headset is a great premium headset for sort of contact center scenarios. It's not a music listening headset as such as you typically get with sort of cupped over the ear type headsets. It is really designed for that sort of high volume, low interference sorts of scenarios. Just switching over now to the actual headset itself, it's super light, which is really good for all day wearing. I really enjoy that super light aspect. It doesn't twist all the way around, doesn't need to. It's not one of those headsets that require that sort of wearing style. What it does do though is you have a return to the boom that flips over both ways, which is great. So if you prefer having the boom on the left or on the right, that's pretty good. One thing to keep in mind, that the mute button is sitting on the side over there. We do have some control buttons, if you can have a look at that, some control buttons, which is really our handset or answer button, and then our Teams button. And then of course, if you have a look at the two little braille dots on the top and the bottom, they're essentially volume up and volume down. The headset itself is well made. It's not, you know, the sort of stainless steel manufacture that you would expect, but what we have in here is a rubber enclosed steel band, which is it's got a little bit of play over there, which gives you that protection, and it's got a little bit of a spongy bit over there, which is nice and soft, so it doesn't have that sort of hard experience across the top of your head like so many of the headsets do. And again, if you look at the microphone as well, we've got the ability to adjust that to what you prefer, which is pretty good. For those of you who keep breaking these sorts of headsets, this is not a handle, just had to plug that. And we've got microphone on the inside and on the outside, so it's got the ability to be able to pick up that sort of ambient noise and reduce that. It's a nice headset. It feels like a premium headset, and it certainly does deliver. Let's flick on over to the base station and talk a little bit about the base station. Right, let's have a look at the actual unit itself. Now the unit, it's got a fair bit of weight to keep it weighed down, and just on the left hand side there's a port here. This is for the wireless charger base to be attached. And on the other side, we've got a couple of USB ports for you to extend your USB. So if you want to chuck something in there, and so on. You'll see that the headset sits in the cradle magnetically. So there's a nice little magnetic attachment with a little ridge that allows it to sit there without sliding off. Little charging tags over there. And when you put it in place, it clips into place, and then you'll see that the headset gets a little green ring on the indicator there to show it's charging. I'll just flick it over a little bit more, take this out the way, and you'll see that we've got a busy light socket over there. It looks like a 3.5mm jack. That's a specific busy light for the Yealink unit, optional extra. And then power and USB-A over there back to my PC. Just move it back around this way. Right, now I just attach the wireless charger, that's it over there. Optional extra. It can fold flat and it'll charge flat if that's what you prefer. Got a USB-C port on the back, adjusts to the height and angle that you want, and just connect that. Very good. You'll see it's been detected, and then there's a little foot at the bottom, a little lip that you can sit your phone on. So I'll just clip my phone down, pop it in there, and it should start charging straight away. Now my phone isn't actually paired, as you can see. It just sees the PC software on the WH66. But the phone's not actually paired as yet. So what I'm going to do is go to the Yealink USB Connect software. This allows me to access everything and a little bit more easier than touching the touchscreen. So there's the actual WH66 with all the details. Going to the updates page, I can check for updates. I've done so earlier, so it should be all good. And then they've got quite deep diagnostics over here, which I haven't had to use as yet. It's just worked, so that's been good. And then here's our basic and advanced settings. These are the ones you would essentially find on the WH66 touch screen. Bluetooth switch really means switch it on, switch it off. So that's what that really means. And then backlight active level is really brightness. How bright is the unit? And I've got it set to brightest at the moment. Backlight time, so how long, it's basically timeout before it goes to sleep, the screen that is. So I've just got it to 30 minutes. And then you can have it as personal or as hot desking mode, which is quite handy. And then it doesn't remember any settings, right? And then there's all the tones, my speaker volume, which I have on 5, but it goes all the way to 15, which is pretty amazing, and more loud than I need to. And then of course we've got a screensaver you can set. Now I have set a screensaver, and so for the sake of forcing it in my face, I'll change it to 30 seconds. You can adjust the ringing and so on. And here's the image I'm going to upload for my screensaver. I'll just chuck my in my humble opinion logo in there, and you would have seen it in the intro video where I've lifted up the unit. You would have seen it over there. This was just for the sake of our recording. And as soon as I've added that, it's already saved, right? There's no specific save button for any of the stuff that I've toggled over here. They're instant as soon as you touch them. Looking at advanced settings, you've got mute reminder. I'm not a fan of mute reminder, especially not in 20 seconds. It just keeps on saying every 10 seconds you're on mute, which drives me a little bit batty. You can choose the device that you want, of course, to use. Platform, I'm only on Teams, so happy with that. We've got a few other settings. Open line when undocked, so when you undock straight away get dial tone, kind of like a cradle. And then of course this wireless range. This is the reason why DECT is so cool. 150, I kid you not, that's the range I'm getting. It is amazing. Voice announcements you can turn on. That's the little voice that tells you you're muted or you're connected or you're, charging, all those kinds of things, the little voice announcements. I turn them on, turn them off. I turn them on initially when I'm trying to get used to a headset, but then I'll turn them off later again, just when I'm kind of got a feel for the headset. And then they've got some really extra little bits like anti-startle and daily noise exposure limits. These are things you don't usually see on sort of your run-of-the-mill headsets, but that's a little bit more common in the likes of contact center type headsets. And then we've got our reboot and so on, and then some feedback you can provide right there. So then, what's my final opinion of this headset? It's a beautiful unit. It serves that segment of the market, the contact center segment, really well. And there are a few little things in there, surprises, things I didn't expect. For instance, you can go into the configuration, you can add up to 4 headsets to the base station. That's pretty handy. And then of course, it is also a speakerphone. Just below the display, there's actually, I don't know if you noticed earlier, there's a speaker in there. It's not the kind of stuff you're going to be using to bring down the house with your Spotify account, but it is good enough to use as a speakerphone. It's got a built-in microphone for the purpose as well. What I have found though is it's best to have it placed in front of you when you are using that microphone so that you're talking into it. A great unit all around. This is Paul Bloom and you have been watching In My Humble Opinion. Please remember to subscribe for future reviews.